it's hard to see out that long. I mean, like you said, it's good to shoot for something and have goals, lofty goals that where you want to be, but then make it more practical and chunk it down to today. What are you going to do today to make that happen?
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Are you ready to start investing in real estate today but don't know where to start? Sometimes investing can seem way too complicated, but it actually couldn't be any easier than with HomeInvest.com. You know the co-founder and my friend Nate Armstrong. He appeared on episode 20, and if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it, episode number 20. Home Invest is a company that allows you to invest in turnkey real estate. Their goal is to build powerful investment tools that make real estate investing accessible to everyone. They have contractors and property managers available for you with the click of your mouse. While other real estate agents can only offer a property, Home Invest brings you a full turnkey package that allows you to diversify your investments, earn passive income, and start building equity in properties. Their simple, intuitive design allows newcomers and experienced investors alike to hit the ground running and to be able to choose the properties when they want and where they want. View easy to understand charts and data to allow you to buy in only a few clicks or just a simple phone call. With Home Invest, you'll be building your portfolio as quickly or as slowly as you would like. And right now, Home Invest is giving our listeners, Pillar of Wealth Creation listeners, a free course on how to finally win in real estate investing. So go to homeinvest.com/pillars. That's homeinvest.com/pillars to claim your free course today. Hey, welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer, and with me, as always, on these Hump Day Hustles is John Stiles with Bridge Realty. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great today, Todd. Woke up to some snow on the ground and
Did you go sledding yet?
no, went shoveling.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of that, but you know what, it was only like 2 inches, so I just let it get packed down by our cars. Get that base layer. That's wow.
Put some water out there, make sure it's nice and slippery.
Yeah, that's good. So we crash at the neighbor's house. Yeah, but it's great. I actually love the snow, kind of. Like, we got a love-hate relationship with the snow. My kids love sledding and stuff. I mean, we go skiing all the time, so the snow is definitely welcome. Just take away the cold. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I always say the snow is what makes the cold worthwhile. When you have just cold and no snow, it's like, oh, that's what I don't like.
It's brutal, right? Yeah. Well, cool. So anything on the happening, John, that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm working on putting together a seminar for apartment owners in the Twin Cities. So just kind of working with a graphic designer and just putting together some direct mail and that type of stuff.
What's the strategy?
The strategy is to reach out to people that I don't know yet. So kind of like a seminar I did back in April, instead of blasting it to all my friends and colleagues on LinkedIn and Facebook, just mostly sending direct mail, a couple different reaches to apartment owners. And, instead of sending out a postcard that says, hey, sell me your property or let me list your property, instead, it's a educational seminar. So back in April, we did one with a property manager and just kind of did different tips for proper management of a rental property. And then this one we're doing, we have a presenter on 1031 exchanges.
Okay. And so, John, what are you doing? These people show up to your seminar and listen. I'm assuming you get some information from them or try to? What do you do with these people that show up?
Yeah, definitely. We collect their information when they sign up to come to the event. Of
Okay.
course, we have their basic information when we are reaching out to them in the first place. Um, and then we, get some feedback forms filled out at the seminar, see if they have any interest level in the topic or in buying or selling properties, and then just put them in the database so that we can follow up on a regular basis and stay in touch. So,
Out of the people that um, came to the last one, how many? So that was in April. So we're just beyond 6 months. How many touches have you had with them since?
ooh, that's a good question. I was not prepared for that.
Have you had touches since?
I'd have to dig into my database to see. Ideally, I would have it all planned out where there's already prepared reaches and touches that would go out. I so it's a work in progress, but I do have different things set up. My monthly e-newsletter. I have postcards that go out on a monthly basis. So kind of plugging them into some stuff that I do have going on. So I'd have to go back and look and see uh, what everybody got. So
Yeah, I think that'd be, obviously like we talked about last week with the fanatical prospecting, you want to make sure you're actually reaching these people and not just once. It's over and over and over again.
yep,
So yeah, I think it'd be good to track that, put that on like your calendar where it just is a repeat. Like I've got to connect with maybe an email blast that is sent out. Maybe you know you've got two people a month that you personally call, or you or somebody that works with you, personally just calls, or set up a lunch randomly with, try to get as many people as you can and stuff like that. I think that would really help get these people interested in actually listing with you versus listing with somebody else, because obviously there's other brokers that are out there that are trying to get their business too. And with the seminar, you're doing a great job with separating yourself, but then you've got to continue to be the top of their mind
right,
as well.
yep. So we're gonna do a better job with this second seminar.
Cool.
Always learning and improving here.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And I think it'd be cool to talk about after this seminar, kind of some other stuff that you're doing to make sure you're getting good reach to these people on a continuous basis. We could talk about, how many people actually came and then what you're doing. And I think that's good for the listeners to be able to hear because, for me, it's my investors, right? I've got to continue to reach to them, and I've got to continue to do a better job with that. I just got off the phone. I was actually late to doing this recording with you because I was on the phone with an investor. But I've got to continue to do a better job at, now we had this initial call. We've had some emails back and forth. I'll email them. They'll email me back. We'll have a couple of emails, but then I have to have it so 3, 4, 5 months don't go by without me ever communicating with them again, because then when I have an active deal that I'd like to send to them, are they going to really be thinking about me as investing in versus investing with somebody else? That the other thing is too, is like the last deal I learned, I had several people that said, "Oh man, I just invested in somebody else's deal," which is fine. I'm all for investors spreading their money out to different syndicators and all that kind of stuff. But had I communicated better with them, they would have known a deal was coming from me. They would have wanted to do business with me, and probably would have, I filled the deal out regardless. But had I needed to raise maybe another couple $1 million, it would have been a lot more difficult. So it's just about that reach and continue to communicate and and be on top of it. Because if you truly believe the value you're adding, and for me, I truly believe in the apartment building that I was syndicating. I believe it was the best opportunity for these investors to invest in. Now, maybe they got another great deal that they invested. I'm sure they did, but I think mine was better, type of thing, or as good. Um, and so with that in mind, it's like, well, if you're adding value to these people, you should be communicating with them constantly, so they know that you're going to add that value to them. So,
Yeah.
um,
Well, it's kind of a balancing act. You have to stay top of mind without annoying them.
yeah, without being obnoxious, right? Yeah, you don't want to be that guy that they're like, oh, great, John's calling me again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer it. If your phone never gets answered, you probably know you're doing something wrong. Phone calls never get answered. For emails, when you send it out, if you use MailChimp or whatever, if it shows that you sent out, to 450 people and only like 25 actually open it up, something's wrong. But yeah, you've got to be continually contacting people without being obnoxious. And if you're just trying to sell crap and you're not adding true value, then you are annoying, right? I mean, that that's something you want to avoid. If you're not adding true value, don't annoy people.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking about this the other day because we had a presentation from a couple different mortgage companies for us. And I just was thinking about this, how some companies just rattle off all the different types of loans they can offer and all the great benefits of using them. It's like I just zone out to that type of stuff. I don't care what kind of mortgage products that they have.
Because everybody has the same thing.
Pretty much. I mean, they all say it's different, and they're
Right,
they're the only ones that can do it, but it's all the same. But
yeah, they're maybe the only ones that can do that particular one, but I guarantee the other 20 companies that you're going to talk to can do something pretty much exactly the same and going to give you the exact same results,
with just a different name.
yeah. So why should you do business with them? What kind of value are they going to add to you? And that's what's really important. That's what's going to set them apart from somebody else. Is, well, why are you better? What connections are you for a mortgage company? Are you going to make the right connections for me? Are you going to ensure that we're going to close? Are you going to, are you going to get everything done on time? Are you going to make this process painless for me? Those are the things I want from a mortgage company.
Yeah.
That's adding value, but if you don't actually tell me that, why do I choose you versus somebody else? Then it's just, basically pulling sticks.
Yep.
Hey, I want to interrupt this episode real quick to talk to you about Nate Armstrong, our sponsor, Nate Armstrong. He's with homeinvest.com, and you want to get to know Nate. So go to homeinvest.com and just connect with Nate, talk to him, learn about his operation, what he's got going on. He's a turnkey provider, and it may not be right for you, but it could be the perfect fit. So it doesn't hurt. It's a free call, consultation, just to figure out, what they do, what they have to offer. And worst case is you're going to meet a great person who's really well educated in real estate. He's done a ton of different real estate strategies, and probably he's going to teach you a little bit, even on a short conversation with him. So go to homeinvest.com and connect with Nate's company. You're definitely not going to be disappointed. It's worth it. So thanks, and we'll get back to our show. Last week we talked about a book. This week I'm kind of going off of a book as well. However, I didn't tell you that. So it's the end of the year, and we want to talk about goals, and we all want to set our goals. And a lot of people have their New Year's resolutions, which they stick to through January 12th, and then then they lose them, right? And then they wait until next year January 1st to make their New Year's resolution that they stick to till January 14th. So we want to figure, okay, how do we set goals? And then, first of all, why? And then how do we set goals and how do we actually keep them? One of the books I have been reading is called The 12-Week Year. John, did you read that book? I can't remember if you read that.
Actually, I haven't read it, but I'm the one who recommended it to
You
you.
recommended it to me. So I
Yeah.
read that book and
Good
I
job.
really liked it. One of the things I liked among many is it really breaks down your goal. And so we set these year-long goals, and 12 months is a long time from now. So it's so easy to give up on this big, huge goal that is either unattainable or just seems so far away. So you lose focus on it, and maybe you think, well, I'm going to get to it, right? So I'm going to, for instance, next year, I want to buy 800 apartment units. Okay. Sounds great, right? 800 apartment units. I know exactly it's going to be value add. I know everything about it. I know exactly where they're going to be. I'm going to be looking in certain markets. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I know how to do it. I know I have to reach out to brokers. I know all that kind of stuff. Okay. Well, if I don't buy 200 units, I have a 200 unit contract in the first quarter, no big deal, right? Because in the second quarter, I can just get 400 units under contract. If I don't get 400 units under contract by the second quarter, the third quarter, I can just get another 400 or 500 units under contract, right? And if the third quarter I don't get it, I'm like, holy crap, I'm never going to get there. Well, next year I'll do it, and so it's so easy to kind of push off until it's either too late and you're going, well, forget it, I'm not going to do this, or we try to scramble. So many of us scramble at the end to try to get our sales quota or whatever it is. And we ultimately end up either burning out or failing or flailing. And so it just doesn't work. So what this 12-week year does is it chops it down into your year is 12 weeks. So instead of making a year-long resolution, you're making a 12-week commitment. And then within that 12 weeks, of course, we want to break it down even further, right? So 12 weeks is pretty attainable. It's basically 3 months, even less than 3 months. So we can go, okay, in 12 weeks, what are we going to actually achieve? So what I've done is I want to buy 800 units in 2019, but I'm breaking that down now. Okay. So instead of buying 800 units in 2019, which I want to do, how many units do I need to buy in a 12-week time frame? Okay. So I need to do one transaction. Okay. So for my next 12 weeks, I need to get one property under contract and closed. That's my goal. So now what does it take to achieve that? How many broker reaches do I need to get? How many times do I need to contact a broker each week? How many properties do I need to underwrite? And how many properties do I need to put offers on? Well, I know right now I need to write probably 100 to 150 look at 100 to 150 properties just to be able to write enough offers to get one deal. I've got to write at least probably 8 to 12 offers to get one deal. Okay. So by doing that, now I've broken it down and now I know exactly what I need to do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis in order to achieve my goals. And I can do that just for that, or I can do it for any of my other goals. So, right now my goal is to exercise every single day. And if I'm going to exercise every day for the next entire year, that's a lot more daunting than saying I'm going to exercise every single day for the next 12 weeks. And I'm going to eat healthy. That's my other goal. I'm going to eat healthy, no junk food, no chips, no soda, no nothing for the next 12 weeks. It's a lot less daunting to do that and to break it down. And so that's kind of my new mindset after reading this book, instead of going, oh, my New Year's resolution, is my next 12-month or 12-week resolution, not 12-month.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, when you mentioned before we started this call that we were going to talk about goal setting, I kind of had forgotten about this book because I haven't read it. I heard about it and it sounds all great, But I got to thinking, well, setting goals are great, but how do you keep them? You know, because so many times in the past I've set goals, and I'm a total believer. You gotta write it down, you gotta say it, you gotta see it, you know, and that's gonna help you achieve it. But how do you keep them? Because so many times in the past I have made goals and I've failed to meet them. In fact, I've set goals and I've failed miserably. Like I've not even gotten close to meeting my goals.
yep, yep. Yeah, I think so. And this book kind of covers a lot of that, and I should have this actually in front of me. But one of the things I thought was kind of interesting, or maybe a good thing to do, is he talks about having your accountability partner too. So whether that's your business partner, whether that's just maybe it's your wife or husband, maybe it's just somebody in a club of yours, maybe it's a coach you pay, whatever that is, having that accountability partner can be really good. Uh, that can actually, you know, if you've got somebody holding you accountable, you don't want to disappoint, that can actually really help out. The other thing is starting with, with why, like, why do we actually want to achieve this? What's our drive? What is this goal actually going to do for us? I think that's really important to be able to see. Writing it down is really important, and having it like stapled somewhere right in front of your face so you're going to see it every day, I think is definitely helpful. However, it's easy to ignore too. Like I have mine above my computer, and I sat down today, I didn't even look at it.
Mhm.
It's just there. It's because it's there. It's there every day. But you have to be intentional with it too. You can't just post it somewhere and think it's going to somehow morph into your head, and you're going to all of a sudden become that. So I
Right.
think you need to read it on a daily basis too. And I think the most important part for me is when you make this 12-week goal, you break it down into what are you going to do on a weekly basis, and then break that down into a daily basis. And then every day you look at your goal list, you look at what you got to do that day, and you make sure you take apart the most important aspects and make sure you time block and focus on those things. Other things come up in a day. I mean, things come up all the time for me where I'm so sudden I'm running here and there and everywhere. And it's like, holy crap, I didn't get anything done today. But if you've got it time blocked in to spend time, underwriting 6 deals today. I've got to underwrite 6 deals today. Okay. Well, now I know I've got a time block 3 hours to underwrite 6 deals. And that's what I'm going to do for those 3 hours. I think that's going to really help achieve your goals if you can really systematically put it together, and block it and actually focus on it.
Yep. Another helpful tip that I've been doing lately, kind of like an accountability partner, and that's what I've called it with my situation. But it's if you think of like having a workout partner, it's
Yep.
somebody that you're doing it with at the same time, not just somebody that's going to ask you after the fact, hey, did you do it? Well, no. Well, shame on you, you should have done it. you know is actually somebody that you have an appointment with and you do that item with, whether it's working out, cooking correctly, or underwriting, or whatever it is. Obviously that might not work in every single situation or every single goal, but where you can apply it, it can be really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And workout is a perfect example. It's a lot of people want to be healthy and work out. Okay. So find somebody that wants to be healthy and work out. and make a date, every
Mhm.
day at whatever, 6 a.m. We work out together. If you can't meet them, well, can you do it virtually? Can you just get onto a Zoom chat like we do and work out together on that Zoom chat? Sure. I mean, maybe it's not quite the same, but it's better than nothing. And so that accountability can be huge. Like you said, if you're going to, are we going to be underwriting? Are we going to be calling? Both of us are sitting in different rooms and we've got to make, each of us has to make 20 calls. Um, or maybe we sit in the same room if we're calling, somehow we can do it where we're not interrupting each other. But either way, I mean, if you're doing stuff like that and you're holding each other accountable, then and you can also make competitions out of things too, especially if you have other people. But even with yourself, you can make competitions out of. You can reward yourself. You work out 7 days a week and you do it for 2 weeks and you get to, I don't know, you get to, go to your favorite restaurant, or you get to go, if you like shopping, go shopping, or just something that is going to reward you for actually doing what you said you're going to do, and then continually pick something else, of course, to do it. So, and punishment can also be good too. So if you don't do something, if you miss a day, maybe you have to put $100. You have to give $100 to your spouse, or $500 to your spouse, or $500 to your worst enemy, or something like that. So punishment can be good as well.
Yeah, include a nice little handwritten note. You're getting this money because I failed.
Yeah, you're getting this money because right, because I didn't do what I said I was going to do. My brother and I, we did that. Was it last year or the year previous? I think it was $100, maybe it was $500, and whoever ate junk food first paid the other person. And so we did that, and I won. I don't know if I ever got payment. So if you're listening,
Uh-oh,
pay up.
better.
Pay up. No, but I mean, it was just, a friendly little competition with some money involved. So it was not only it was competition, but it was also a punishment for whoever lost, because they had to pay the other person. Like I said, my cheap brother probably didn't pay me, but whatever.
That's really important. I recently started a series on Facebook Live called Monday Morning Motivation. I talked about having a wall, which is also from that book, Fanatical Prospecting. And it's the opposite of visualizing the best things that could happen if you succeed.
Yeah.
It's visualizing the worst things that could happen if you fail. Because some of us are more motivated if we think about what could go wrong. For example, are you not going to be able to pay your bills? You're going to get foreclosed on, and you're going to live on the street. If you visualize that, maybe that's what's going to motivate you to get focused and do what you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And think about I think so many people think about the short term, right? And they don't think about the long-term prospect. So Darren Hardy has a book called The Compound Effect. And you talk about that, like, we all know money compounds, right? So if we put $1 into whatever, a stock, at when we're first born, if our parents do it, the day we're first born, that dollar is going to turn into, I don't know the math, but that dollar is going to turn into a lot of money, versus if we put $500 in to that same exact stock when we're 10 years old, it's actually, the dollar's going to be worth more. If we go and put, $20,000 in when we're 30 years old or 25 years old, that dollar is still going to be worth more because of the compound effect. So, I'm talking about exercising every single day, or eating healthy every single day, or underwriting every single day. That compound effect is going to end up accelerating me so much faster if I actually think about, I've got to be consistent in doing this. And what is the implication? What happens if I don't do it? Like, what are the negatives if I eat unhealthy for the next 5 days and then maybe start eating healthy and then get off that horse and start eating unhealthy? And then, what's the negative implications 30 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, whatever that is? What is that negative implication? I'm going to be tired, fat, maybe have some heart disease, maybe have high blood pressure, cholesterol, whatever it is. And now I'm going to be trying to, instead of being this healthy person that can, go for a run with my wife or my kids, or go skiing with my kids, or whatever, when they're 30 years old and I'm old and gray. Well, I'm already gray, but old. Instead of being able to do that, I can't do that because I didn't take care of myself. Now, as I'm trying to do is figure out how to reverse the damage I've already done, which is not going to happen. And so that's what the other thing, when we think about what our goals are, what are the true implications if we don't achieve those goals? Like, what could happen if I don't achieve those goals? And if we really think hard about that, oftentimes that's going to be enough motivation to achieve my goal.
Yep. That's a really good analogy. I've obviously heard that a lot with money, compounding interest, but I don't think I've heard that analogy applied to your health or other things. Because so often we hear people say, "This is my last day of eating, whatever, chocolate or pizza or whatever, and then tomorrow I'm gonna start eating healthy."
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow you might be dead,
Yeah.
which I suppose it didn't matter anyways. But
Then you should have eaten the chocolate.
you should have eaten it tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know. The analogies break down.
Not even tomorrow, but 20 years from now, when you never did stop eating that ice cream and chocolate and cake and whatever, and now you've got diabetes, or you've got other health problems. Now you're going, oh crap! Now it's too late.
Yeah.
Guess what? You can't get rid of some of those problems. They're with you for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
One of my buddies, his son is type 1 diabetes, the one that you get at birth or when you're young.
I'm not sure.
He's got, anyways, I'm pretty sure that is. And I don't know a ton about diabetes. I know now more than I've ever known, but he had it when they found out when he was, I think, like a year and a half or 2 years old. And he was telling me about it. I'm like, man, think of that. There's people that get type 2 diabetes, and that, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong, so somebody might give me some hate mail, but whatever. I think type 2 diabetes is a diet thing, and so that's something that you did to yourself. And I think of the pain that this kid goes through, and the hardship that he didn't cause himself, and when somebody would actually do that to themselves. So that's the implications of that's the result of the compound effect, if for your health, and if it goes for your business or anything too. If you're a salesperson and you're not willing to make those 30 phone calls a day that you should be making, you're going to get those results. If you made 30 calls yesterday, you're 30 calls ahead of today. If you make 30 more calls today, you're 60 calls ahead of tomorrow. And it just keeps on going. So,
yeah. And again, when we're in our current state and we're looking at that chocolate or whatever it is, we just want to eat it. And we don't feel the results and the effects of the unhealthy eating in the future. So same thing with sales. Yeah, I can sit here and look at the calls I'm supposed to make and sit comfortably and say, well, my bills are paid so far. I'm not evicted yet.
Yeah.
So, but I've got to look towards the future. I got to be, looking towards what things are going to be if I don't do what I need to do now.
Right. right? Where are you gonna be? Where do you want to be? And where will you be if you keep on making the choices you're making today? And that's what I think is important with goals. If we're going to make goals, our goals are typically to do more than what we did yesterday or last year. Most of us don't go, oh, I made $500,000 in sales last year. I'd like to do 250 this year. Most of us go from a $500,000 to $750,000 or $1 million or whatever it is. But so you're going to try to achieve more. So you've got to put in more effort. You've got to actually be more, consistent. You actually have to find other people to join your team or whatever that is. You have to do those steps that are going to make it better. Most of us are listening to this podcast and among others because we want to achieve more. So when we're writing our goals, you have to think of what's happening if we don't actually do what we need to do. So I think we've beat that one pretty good, but it's funny because when you mentioned that you don't realize it, I was actually reading an article on nicotine and sugar, which one's more addicting, which one's actually worse for you. And the conclusion is that sugar is worse for you than nicotine. But people were smoking for years and didn't realize that it would actually cause health problems, because when you smoke, apparently it makes you relaxed, and it said it makes you relaxed and gives you a burst of energy at the same time. So I don't know how that is, but anyways, that's what it said. And you don't feel those effects, and you just keep smoking. So you have another cigarette because it's great, and you can keep on doing it. It's a social thing, and all your friends are doing it. And all of a sudden, then finally they start realizing, well, that's causing, heart disease and lung cancer and all kinds of other stuff. But that's, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years after you started smoking. It wasn't day one. It wasn't day three. It was years and years and years down the road. And that's the same with sugar, and same with, our business and relationships and all that kind of stuff, is that we don't see the effects necessarily day one. You're not going to go and do one sale call and all of a sudden you make $500,000 off that one sale call. And if you did, congratulations. But most of us don't. John, if you made one call today to an apartment owner to get his apartment listed, and you didn't do that, or you didn't actually get his apartment listed, you gave up that day, you failed, right? You got to make more than one call. You're not going to feel the effect if you just make one call.
Right. It's definitely a numbers game in the sales prospecting.
Yeah, in anything, honestly. Yeah. Well, I think that's good. I mean, I think for people that are thinking of their New Year's goal, to me, you've got to break it down. Instead of New Year's, quit with New Year's. Let's do it today, right? For me, I just did my 12-week goals, and I did those at the beginning of the week. So that was Monday. I wrote my 12-week goals down. For me, that's what you need to do. And the other thing that the book mentioned I thought was really good is as every day you look at your goals, you look at what you did, and you write down what you achieved and what you need to do. And we need to take account of that every week and every day to really say, okay, am I on track? If I'm not on track, what do I need to do better to get back on track? And so that's the hard thing about a year goal, is because it's really hard to go, am I on track to meet my goal for this year? Well, I don't know. It's a whole freaking year away. It's 365 days. That's a long time. That's 52 weeks. I mean, how do I know if I'm on track? But if we've got a shorter goal, even a 1 month goal, if you want to break it down that far, then what is that? I still think you need to have a year goal and a 5-year goal, but then you need to break it down further.
Yep. Definitely. So it's hard to see out that long. I mean, like you said, it's good to shoot for something and have goals, lofty goals that where you want to be, but then make it more practical and chunk it down to today. What are you going to do today to make that happen?
Yeah. And the other thing is the farther out you go, the less control you have, because your personality changes consistently. Your family life might change. Your priorities might change. Your health might change. All kinds of things can change. If the economy crashes tomorrow, my strategy for apartment investing is a lot different than it is today. So even my 12-week goal may be too far out, but at least it's a lot more reined in than a year goal. So that's the other thing with making these big lofty goals so far out, is that things are gonna change. That's just it. Your priorities, what is important in life consistently changes, at least for me. So you've got to be able to be flexible with that, and thinking too far out to me, doesn't do a ton of good. It's nice. Right. It's nice to say, but is it really there motivating you? I don't know.
Yeah, well, if any of our listeners and viewers would like to contribute on this conversation, that'd be great. We'd like to know what your goals are and how you keep them. How do you break them down into actionable, practical pieces and chunks, and so that you can actually achieve the goals and be successful? I guess another question I have for our listeners is, what are ways that you reward yourself with those little goals? Is it having a little candy bar, speaking of unhealthy things, or is it, going to an amusement park with your kids, or going skiing? Or how do you reward yourself in the little ways on a daily, weekly, and quarterly basis?
I have a strawberry now.
Yeah, what's that?
I said I have a strawberry now. That's not a candy bar.
Okay. So yeah, chime in on the conversation on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and YouTube comments. You can find us, of course, with the name Pillars of Wealth Creation, and we love your feedback and review on iTunes as well.
Awesome, John. Awesome. Well, that's it. So you have a great rest of the day, and make every day a Saturday.
You too.
Are you ready to start investing in real estate today, but don't know where to start? Sometimes investing can seem way too complicated, but it actually couldn't be any easier than with HomeInvest.com. You know the co-founder and my friend Nate Armstrong. He appeared on episode 20, and if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to it, episode number 20. Home Invest is a company that allows you to invest in turnkey real estate. Their goal is to build powerful investment tools that make real estate investing accessible to everyone. They have contractors and property managers available for you with the click of your mouse. While other real estate agents can only offer a property, Home Invest brings you a full turnkey package that allows you to diversify your investments, earn passive income, and start building equity in properties. Their simple, intuitive design allows newcomers and experienced investors alike to hit the ground running and to be able to choose the properties when they want and where they want. View easy to understand charts and data to allow you to buy in only a few clicks or just a simple phone call. With Home Invest, you'll be building your portfolio as quickly or as slowly as you would like. And right now, Home Invest is giving our listeners, Pillar of Wealth Creation listeners, a free course on how to finally win in real estate investing. So go to homeinvest.com/pillars. That's homeinvest.com/pillars to claim your free course today.